Welcome to the latest episode of 305 Vox Populi here in the studio at St. Thomas University. I'm Mayor Manny Cid. I'm your host for the podcast, but I'm joined today by Ariel Martinez, the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of Presidente Supermarkets. How you doing, Ariel?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for the invitation.
Appreciate to have you on. So Ariel is not only a great friend, but one of the busiest folks that I know on a daily basis. So not only does he operate 45, you heard it right, 45 supermarkets from Central Florida all the way down to like Homestead, 45. So Matt, you could only imagine his cell phone. But on top of that, he opened 3 new supermarkets just this year, which is a feat in itself. These are supermarkets that are about 45,000 square feet each, really big. But there's a bigger story here, and it's Ariel's story as to how he got there. Now, a lot of people see Presidente, what he's doing, how he's grinding. But when did it all start? When was it that day that you said, you know what? Especially us, right? We're kids that grew up, with Cuban heritage, Cuban background, jugando pelota, want to be baseball players, this, that. But when did you say, you know what? The supermarket industry is for me.
I came from Cuba in 1996. My first job was working at a school. Actually, I was working at the kitchen of the school, public school, cleaning the floor, helping with the milk crates, doing everything that a man would do in the kitchen, helping all the ladies that were working there. It was about 13 ladies and me. So then I went to work at Discount Auto Bar. I got an opportunity to go to Discount Auto Bar. I was lucky enough to have a great family here that helped me to go to school, to learn a little bit of English. And when I knew a little bit of English, I moved to Discount Auto Bar. I spent there like about a year. And then I went to Goya Foods. I spent 13 years at Goya Foods. I started as a merchandiser, and I went up to be a supervisor, sales supervisor. And one day I met one of the smartest guy in the business, in the supermarket business, Omar Rodriguez, the owner of Presidente Supermarket. And I knew him for a few years. I was working with him from Goya and Presidente. And one day we were talking and he gave me the opportunity. He told me I need somebody to help me keep growing this. He has a very small group of people around him. I'm fortunately to be one of them. And and since that time, about 9 years ago, we've been growing and growing. He was already Presidente Supermarket. It's, like I said, one of the smartest guy in the business. And he gave me the opportunity. He teach me everything that I need, and we're here. We'll keep growing. Like you said, we just opened 3 stores this year. We're building another 2 stores. We're growing really quick, and we just signed another 2 leases for 2 new locations next year. We keep looking forward. We keep looking forward for new places and new locations.
So, Ariel, looking back a little bit to 1996, when you got here and you were working at the public school kitchen, seeing where you're at today, but looking back, how does that feel?
It feels great. The sky is the limit. And I tell every kid, I have 3 kids, as you know, and I tell them all the time, the sky is the limit. You gotta work hard. When somebody comes to you and tells you, oh, it's tough times, it's not as you had it. No. It's not like that. It's in your heart. It's in you. You gotta work hard and put your mind on what you wanted to do, on where you want to be in life. There's nothing more important than going to school. And I tell everybody, I went to school only for English, and then I got blindsided with the job and making money from Cuba. Came when I was 19. So I started working. I didn't keep going to school. But I tell every kid, it's great, and you know this very well. It's when you sit. I'm in a position where I sit with the smartest people in the business, with politicians, with people that makes a lot of big decisions, very important decisions, and not only to talk about work, but also to have a drink, and you realize that no matter how big you make it in your business, the school, to go to school is very important. It's very important. It opens your mind, it opens your mentality, it opens everything. No matter how successful you are, you have to go to school. You have to study. You have to be on a sponge, and you have to get everything that is out there. I have a good friend, very successful guy in real estate, and one day he told me, he's a little bit older than us, and I remember that one day I was with my son at one of the stores that we're trying to get rented from his group, and he told my son, go to school. You got to get both. You got to be book smart, and also you have to be street smart. If you can get those together, you'll be very successful. And that's reality. That's the reality of life is if you want to be successful, you need both. You have to do your best to have both.
I don't know if you guys noticed that, but coming here at 19, not knowing the language in 1996, going to school to learn the language, and today having 50 supermarkets under his supervision, his operations, and grow. I mean, that story is what our country is all about. It's the land of opportunity. So Ariel, if you could walk us through those new stores that are opening, from the moment you sign the lease to the moment you open the doors, what's your role? How do you make sure? Because a lot of people go in, like Ariel was telling me, he goes in, he buys the meat, but there's a lot that goes through from making sure that you open day one to you ordering the food, everything, all the merchandise in the store, the employees, everything. So what do you do from A to Z when you open up a new supermarket?
3,000 employees right now. In and out for our payroll, about 3,000. As soon as we get the store with Omar Bless, he goes there, we look at the location, we look at the demographics, and we decide, okay, let's get in and let's make a deal with the landlord. And or sometimes we buy the shopping center. We also own a lot of shopping centers. After Omar decides, okay, this is where we're going, and we all work together. Like I said, we're a very small team. We're a team of 5 or 6 people. Okay, it's not only me. We all work together, and we all make a decision. Okay, we're gonna get in here. We're gonna take care of this. And what I do is I have my architect and engineer. We do the plans. I have a company that also help me with refrigeration equipment, which is the most important part in the supermarket. So we make the layout of the store. I do the layout with my people, with my engineers and this company, and we start working on the plans. It's very complicated sometimes to go through all the city permits and everything. Depends on the city, depends on the county. And I'm on top of that. I run all the stuff. We get everything done. We get a GC, a contractor. So we make a deal with the person. We make a contract. Normally we work with the same company most of the time. And we start building on a store. And a store could take from 6 months to a year to be built. Depends on everything. The way the economy is right now, sometimes it takes a little bit longer because of the equipment are in back order or stuff like that, you know. And but it takes about that, between 6 months and a year. All depends. If it was on a store before, it was a supermarket before, sometimes it's a lot easier. Sometimes it's a clothing store, and we have to do everything from scratch, from the electricity to plumbing, grease trap, everything else. You have a restaurant, so you know how it is.
Yep.
And but it's beautiful. It's nice to start something from zero. And when you do the opening, then as soon as we finish the store, we bring all the product to the store. You have to do the layout of all the products that goes into the store. You gotta have in consideration the demographic. Like we are a completely private company. Omar own it. We can make decisions on the spot of what we're doing with products, type of product. We have a buyer that she is specialized in the grocery. We have a lady, great lady, been with us for many years. We have another lady that does the meat department. So my job is trying to get everything together under one roof. And I'm the last person to leave the store the day before the opening. And I'm one of the first ones to open the store at 6 a.m. to open the store at 7. When we do the opening, we could, that week we could probably work 7 days, probably work 100 hours. We could probably go to sleep 4 or 5 hours every day until the store is running and everything is going the way that has to be. You know, sometimes in a business, sometimes you have a great day, sometimes you have a horrible week. That's how business are, you know.
So a lot of people don't know about the supermarket business. People think you make most of your money on the merchandise, but the reality is your biggest margins, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the hot food, right? So a lot of the business of supermarket, I mean, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it's fascinating because you're getting calls every day from people who are have new types of products, have something, they want to have it in a certain part of the store. But that game in itself, how hard is that to manage? Because you know where your margins are at, right? It's some of the hot foods that are the biggest margins, but you still got to sell it. You got to get people through the door, and that's what brings them in. So talk to us about that process.
Hot food for us is great. If you compare our prices with the rest of the competition, we're doing really, really good on that aspect. And because again, we're a private company, we don't have to wait for headquarters to give us the okay to do or to change something, you know. Besides the hot food, we also own a produce company. We own a produce company that distributes all the produce for us. It's a huge company. It's the equivalent to 3 stores. It's a great business that we had there. We buy directly from producers. We buy directly from the brokers. So we don't have middlemen. Produce for us is big. The hot food is great. It's huge. Also, the grocery. That's why we're doing this got so good. Because like I said, we are a private company. We don't have to wait for headquarters to approve a planogram, a set of where you're gonna put the product. I decide where we're gonna put the product. Omar comes after me and he decide, okay, I like this. We should move this way, or we should put that way. So we all work together, but we can adjust our stores to the demographic. So if we have Haitians, we have stores. We opened a store in West Palm about a year and a half ago. 50. That's the biggest store. We have 50. South floor is about 54,000 square foot.
Wow.
It's huge. At that location, you walk into that store and you will be like, you'll be impressed. People that have been in the business, I've been in the business for 24 years, 25 years. And people are impressed when they walk into the store. I'm impressed every time I go to the store because of the amount of different type of products. If we had Jamaican, we had Jamaican. If we have Haitians, we have Haitians. If we had Jewish, we try to have Jewish products. If we have Cubans, Colombians, Dominicans, no matter who it is, the seafood department for us is big too. We have fresh seafood every day. We have fresh fish every single day at the stores. The meat department, the same thing, you know. So that's what helped us be where we are right now.
No, growing that fast is it's really a blessing. I think that lesson too, when you open up a business, you gotta look at that market, right? One of the things I did at my restaurant that I kind of messed up at the beginning was I try to be everything for everybody. Then I realized, I was like, wait a second, my market is this, so I got to make sure my menu is this. So, but yeah.
I remember having conversations about the coffee.
Yeah.
Machine with you.
No, I know. We made some changes. And so Ariel definitely gave me some great advice. So one thing, we're going to hand it over to the students. I know they have some questions for you. We have our Dean of Communications here at St. Thomas, a Director of Communications Department.
Let the students go. I just have well, you said this and it opened up my brain to a whole different thing I never realized. You said that not only do you guys have 40 supermarkets, but you own a percentage of those actual shopping centers as well.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. So let's talk money. All right. Are you 2 separate entities, Presidente Supermarket, and then the ownership group that owns these
Shopping centers.
These shopping centers? That's question number 1. So, you know, this is blah, blah, blah holdings, and you guys own that. And you probably rent to yourselves, which I think probably has some tax breaks and some tax benefits. But secondly, how do you guys go about running those shopping centers? As much as I applaud the Presidente brand, I think that is a whole thing I never thought about. And do other supermarkets do the same thing? I guess I asked you 3 questions, but I'm about that. I never
That the
put that
other.
together.
Listen, everybody's doing the same thing. Every supermarket chain is trying to do the same thing. You try to own your shopping center, especially because you can control the expenses. You can control the maintenance of the shopping center. You can control. There's a lot of, how did I say this? How you can control a lot of costs that comes into a shopping center to run a shopping center. We do not run the shopping center the same way we run the supermarket business. It's us, our group. Yes, there are different corporations, but we all run, and Omar run everything. So we all run everything together. The same as the produce company. Okay. So again, it's everybody's doing the same thing. We're trying to own the shopping centers. Taxes are higher, insurance is higher, security, electricity. So it's the only way for you to control those expenses.
That was question number one.
Yeah, that was question number one. You answered the second part, which is,
Okay.
Are you a separate corporation, which you are,
Right.
when it comes to that? Do
Right.
you rent to yourselves? I think that
We
was-
do.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God! Like, this makes perfect sense of success.
So we rent it to ourselves, and we also have
Tax breaks
other spaces that we rent. For
Yeah.
example, we own a shopping center in Hialeah where we had 3 tenants, and when the leases were up about 4 years ago, we gave them some time to find a different space, and now we're expanding the store. We're working with the city of Hialeah on the permits and everything. Hialeah is growing a lot, so this business is as simple as complicated can be, because the supermarket business changes every day. The good thing about it is that to understand this business, you have to live in South Florida. Nobody knows Florida, and especially South Florida, as the people that lives in South Florida. And in this business, it's like that. You can bring anybody from out of state, out of South Florida, and it's gonna struggle. The Hispanic community, it's so many countries, so many people from different places, the Caribbeans. So it's very complicated to come out of South Florida and try to run a business the way we run it. You're not gonna succeed unless you come open mind and said, okay, let me change this, and let me learn first.
And let me tell you, before we go to that next question, he's absolutely right. Imagine all those supermarkets. I've been to supermarkets in the Midwest where you go to the Hispanic aisle and you're like, man, this is not Cuban or Colombian. You know what I mean? It's almost like they don't look at the different areas, right? There's parts of the country where you only have Mexican, so they only have Mexican food. But here in South Florida, you're right, it's a melting pot that if you came in from the Midwest and you opened up a supermarket here and you only had from one part of the Spanish spectrum, people that would go get almost offended, right? Similar to 100%.
Happening to a lot of stores in South Florida. We have a lot of stores in South Florida that are big companies, and they don't ask the questions, or they don't want to see, and they're my opinion, okay, they're making a lot of mistakes, but good for us.
No, it is better for competition.
So what obstacles have you faced and are currently facing right now in the supermarket industry so far with Presidente, and what is the ultimate goal that keeps you coming back every day? What is basically the ultimate goal that keeps you wanting to?
Problems that we're having right now, it's getting the product at the right price, trying to give the best price to the customers. Okay, we're not here to make 80% profit on one product and sell it to you and cross our fingers and wait that you're gonna come back again. We do our best to give the best product at the best price. Okay. So yeah, sometimes it's very hard to get product, especially at this time that we're living right now. And to keep a price, I'll give you an example. Today we had the produce warehouse that we had. They called me that we had how do you say mandarina, like
Mandarins, like snake. Yeah.
so we had it at one price on the flyer, but we actually got it a lot cheaper than what the company told us that it was gonna cost. So we made the call. Okay, so we had it at 69 cents each, but we can have it at 5 for the dollar. Why gonna make 69 cents on each when I can have it at 5 for the dollar? And they had the product, so I put it at 5 for the dollar. We decided, okay, let's put it at 5 for the dollar. It's a lot cheaper than what is on the flyer, but if we can do that, why not doing that? So yes, one of the biggest problems right now it's product. It's to get the product, and the equipment. But again, you have to adjust to the times. You have no choice. And what does make me?
Yeah, what ultimate goal that you have placed right now in your life, in your career currently, that keeps you coming back?
To be honest, all these kids here, my kids, okay? Because at the end of the day, I don't know, us owning 45 stores, 40 stores, 6, 7, 10 shopping centers, it makes no difference if we don't have our kids. These kids that are sitting here today, they won't follow our lead like I'm doing with Omar Rodriguez, what he started doing 40 years ago. It's the future. It's the future. At the end of the day, what $1 will buy you, $2 will buy the same thing probably. Okay? So it's the future. And lately I've been talking to Manny a lot about that, about the kids. We need these guys, we need these kids to see that there's better things coming. There has to be positive, and they have to follow what we have made, and what our parents and grandparents and my boss and everybody else has done for us. We got it a lot easier than what our parents and our family that are immigrants came, like Omar did it from scratch, So we have it a lot easier. So it's not time to complain, and it's time to move forward. And that's what made me keep going every day, to be honest.
Before we get to the next question, just so you know, when he talks about kids and the conversations he's had with me, he is, and I know you don't tell this to anybody, but I'm going to put it out there. He's the catalyst behind the conversation that's happening now in Dade County, even in Broward, to ensuring that there's, even if it's a private ambulance, but that there's an ambulance at every football game. Because I know there's been issues. So that conversation is ongoing today because of Ariel. And unfortunately, I know there was an incident recently, and I think everybody woke up to the fact, the importance of that. So that we could touch upon that later. Lewis actually attends a lot of these football games, so I'm sure you can appreciate that conversation. Any other questions from? You got two. I got two more right there. Yes, sir.
All right. So a couple questions. During the pandemic, did you ever see a shift in consumer behavior? And also, what is your greatest advantage to the Presidente?
Wow, great question. Okay. Yes, it changed a lot. There's something that is called center store. Center store is where the shelvings are and where every product it's located. And then there is the areas outside the center store. Again, I'm just a bodega, okay? I'm not the expert in the supermarket business. I'm just a bodega. The center store got a hell of a push with COVID. I believe people not going to restaurants with all the closing of the restaurants and everything that happened brought people to go and buy more stuff at a different quality, to try new products, stuff that never before bought before, and that helped us. That gave us a huge advantage because, like I said earlier, we carry, I would say, in Florida, I would probably carry 80% more Hispanic products than most of the supermarket chains in Miami, in South Florida. 80%. And now, like I said earlier, I've been in Presidente for 9 years, but I came from Goya. From Goya Foods, a great company too, where I used to go to everywhere. I used to, as a merchandiser, then an assessment, and then as a supervisor, I had the opportunity to go to every supermarket, from American companies to Hispanic companies. So I saw everything and I understand how everybody works. So that's why it's an advantage for us and for me especially to make decisions, and I know what they're doing, where the mistakes are in South Florida, which they're making a lot of mistakes. And so I can learn from those mistakes and we can carry the product that nobody else is carrying. Good?
So you mentioned the fact that you guys have like fresh fish at the store every day.
Yes.
I just wanted to know, like, what you guys do, let's say, nobody buys the fish and whatever, you guys have like extra fish left over. Like fathers overall, what do you do that? Yeah, and then also, that other stuff that maybe gets displayed and not some of else.
The thing is that we're very tight on our inventory, okay? We run the inventory really, really tight. That means that we have a seafood manager or a meat manager that knows exactly what he needs. And that you can order daily, it's a lot easier for you to control your inventory. So you don't have to discard much, or you don't have to discard anything at all. You will always have some products, and if you can sell it, you have to throw it away. But I would say probably 90.9% of the product that we buy, we sell it. Because of that, because we run, like I tell you, we have our own produce company. So we can control what we're buying and what it's selling and what it's not selling. And like, we don't need to have, our store managers are they have a very, let's say, open, they can make their own decisions when it comes to some items that if we're not selling them, let's liquidate them. Let's put it at our cost, or even lower than our cost. So like that, we sell everything that we have. We clean, and then we bring fresh product, and we bring what actually selling, so we don't make that mistake no more. So it's hard to say, okay, we have to throw away 500 pounds of seafood fish. No, that never happened. Never happened. It was very tight.
Got it. Great question. Any other questions from the students? All right, so we turn it around to you. You get to ask me some questions. Anything you got for me or for...
How's family? How's everybody?
No.
Everybody good?
I like that, man. That's the easiest one so far. No. All is good, man.
How's the restaurant? How's the business?
The restaurant business, thank God, we're doing well. I will say this, now that there isn't as much free-flowing money on the street, right? Now you're starting to see what your real levels are at, right? So a lot of restaurants, maybe not mine so much because I was breakfast and lunch, but I have a lot of friends that were that are in the industry, and they're starting to see their numbers going back to 2019. So their numbers are fluctuating from the 2000, 2001, 2002, when it was a land of milk and honey. There was money everywhere in terms of the government was funding a lot of these things, to now it's fluctuating back to 2019. And we're seeing that hit everywhere because people's pockets are getting hit by higher taxes, unfortunately, higher insurance, and mortgage interest rates are having, those things all have an impact on the economic ecosystem. But we're okay, thank God.
Have you think about dinner or not?
No, man, no way.
So you're watching?
No, yeah, no way. That's it, man. I think breakfast, lunch, we've learned a lot, but yeah, no, we're not gonna expand either. We're not gonna go buy another restaurant. We're not gonna follow in your footsteps. But no. But now 50 stores. No, I appreciate you. I think there was something you touched upon before we start thinking about this, because I'm gonna ask you in a second to say some few words in closing to that next Ariel Martinez, that next kid that comes from another country who is past high school age, who has to learn the language and has to go through the grind. So think about some words of closing for inspiration for that next kid that's in. A lot of kids that are maybe even here are from other countries, right, as well. But real quick, a couple things you touched upon that before we close. One was the ethics in business. If you notice something, I don't know if you guys noticed that with the cost of the mandarins, where you could have kept it at 69 cents, right? You could have made a little bit more money, but you did the right thing, right? Which was 5 for 1. Those are the little things that businesses sometimes, and I see it in the restaurant industry, there's people sometimes that don't do that. And in the short term, they win, but in the long term, your customers remember that forever. So I appreciate you sharing that, because I think ethics in business go a long, long way. But secondly, last question before we go to your closing, how do you see, for example, people like me? I haven't really been to a supermarket in a while. I order a lot of stuff online from different sources, whatever's cheaper. How has that impacted the restaurant industry, where you can order? Do you have that same service? Is that something you're gonna have to do in your different markets, or what do you see that changing, the technology changing supermarkets?
Okay, so the first question, that has been Omar Rodriguez's mentality. Okay, always pass the saving to the customers. That's where he's at. Where he's at. Okay. There's a few things that for him, he has teaching me and teaching us in general how to run this business. It's very simple. You want to spend 20 minutes or 2 hours shopping, but you want to spend 2 minutes paying. Okay? We have cashiers, registers open at all time. You won't have 10 registers and only 2 cashiers working. No. We try to have as many as possible. Okay? And also the prices. Like I said earlier, sometimes it's harder than before to find good deals. But when you're yourself, and when you work hard with the companies, and the companies know that you're gonna get a product from them and a good deal, and you're gonna make all the profit, and you're not gonna turn around that product to the customers, the company won't come to you no more. We have tons of company out there that every day, they call us every day to bring new products, to do business with us. But why? Because it's the amount of volume that we move every day. And that has been Omar Rodriguez's mentality from the beginning. You know, if you're gonna buy a pound of bananas and it's gonna cost you 99 cents, but if I have it at $2 for $1, you're gonna buy 2 pounds of bananas and you're gonna go happy home, let's do it. If we can make a little bit of money and we can keep growing, let's do it. You know, and like that, the company that sells the bananas are happy, we're happy, our customers at the end of the day is happy. So that's the mentality of our business, you know, and that's why we do that with produce. We do it with everything.
That's awesome. So in closing, words of inspiration, motivation to that next Ariel Martinez, a kid that's in your shoes, that's seeking freedom, wants to leave tyranny, seeking freedom, coming here, and just words of inspiration for that kid, because there's thousands of kids in your shoes that are coming every single year.
Like I said earlier, the sky is the limit. You gotta put yourself in a position where you're gonna be successful. Don't wait for anybody to tell you what to do or how to do it. Learn, make your own decisions. If you fail, you get up and do it again. Nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to make a mistake in life. But that's how it is. That's how life is. We're not in a position where nothing is gonna be given to you. So you gotta work hard for it. And like I said earlier, it's not hard, man. It's not hard. It has to be in you. You have to be respectful. You have to be respectful with everybody. From the guy in my business, from the guy that pick up a shopping cart, to the store manager, to the president of the biggest corporation that you can think. Always say good morning. Always say good afternoon. Always have a face to the business. Have a face to yourself, to what you do. Never hide. Never hide, because at the end of the day, you know, that's all we have, your morals. And that's what my father taught me, that That's what I teach my kids. Always be positive, always move forward. And they will always, sometimes you will make a mistake. You learn from it and keep moving forward. And go to school, kids. Go to school. Do good at school. And after that, work hard. And whatever you want to do in life, no matter what it is, be the best. We have a family friend that he's a great doctor. He's in Africa. And I remember when I was a little kid in Cuba, he went to visit Cuba, and I was sitting with my father, and he says, and be the best doctor, or be the best carpenter, or be the best painter, or be whatever, but the best on one thing. Specialize in one thing and be the best. And then pay for the guy that is going to come and hang your TV, and pay for the guy that is going to cut your grass. But if you're going to cut the grass, be the best cutting grass. And it doesn't matter what business you open, what you do in life, always respect. Always respect and be very respectful.
And there you have it. Ariel Martinez, the Chief Operating Officer of Presidente Supermarkets. The American dream is alive and well, and his story will continue to inspire future generations. So tune in next Wednesday on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. X. Take care.